He's warming up. Isn't that a sight for sore eyes? It's a rare spring training game that matters. Johan Santana takes the mound. Coming up on SNY. Digital Domain Park, the home where the New York Mets play their baseball in March. Fans coming in droves to see the return of the A's. Boy, you missed that smile and that delivery. Of course, the old hip shake. You missed those wins, too. Johan Santana is back today. City presents spring training baseball on SNY this afternoon from Port St. Lucie, Florida. It's the New York Mets playing host to the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Alongside my partner, Ron Darling, I'm Kevin Burkhardt, and today is all about the ace, Johan Santana. And, Ronnie, when you look at it, not too many times during the spring where you say this is an important game. This is an important game. It's an important day for not only Johan Santana, but let's face it, the New York Mets.
You know, I'll make the argument that there's no team in baseball that looks to one player, especially a starting pitcher, more than the New York Mets. Johan Santana is everything to this team, and they need him to open the season. He has not pitched since September 2nd, 2010. There's definitely going to be some butterflies for him, and it doesn't help that he's pitching against the world champion, the Cardinals, but he's the kind of guy that everyone is better if he is on that mound. There's times he takes the mound, he's the best athlete on the field. So one of the things the Mets are looking at is to get off to a quick start. They will be able to get off to a quick start much easier if they have 57 on the mound.
Terry Collins has talked about the fact that he's talked to Santana about the adrenaline. Kind of, stay calm, go out there, don't do anything nuts, and just pitch and stay healthy today. But what about Santana? What is he going to feel today facing major league hitters for the first time since September of 2010?
Well, Collins should really heed his own words. He's probably going to be the most excited of all the people in the ballpark. But I think the thing for Johan that he really wants to work on, and that Collins wants him to work on, is really not to get out of sorts, to really just command his fastball, mix in some changeups, and to tell you the truth, get through this unscathed, get through this without an injury, and make his 6 kind of appearances before April 3rd or April 5th. And if he can do that, the Mets are in great shape.
Does velocity matter at all today to you?
Velocity doesn't matter to me at all. If he's throwing free and easy, and 2 days from now he feels great, that's all that matters to me.
It's Johan Santana Day from Port St. Lucie, the Mets, and the world champion Cardinals, but it's all about number 57. Johan, first pitch, coming up in a few on SNY. York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi, by Budweiser, by Toyota. Hurry in, it's Toyota's #1 for everyone sales event, Toyota. And by WB Mason for amazingly low prices on office supplies. Who buts WB Mason? Follow the Mets with MLB.com at Bat12 for your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Just text @BAT to 31826 or visit Mets.com for all the details. Take a look at the spring training schedule with the Mets are facing Cardinals here today, and then face the Marlins in Jupiter on Wednesday. Marlins are here on Thursday. By the way, Jose Reyes not playing against the Mets tomorrow. He's playing in the new Marlins facility at night against a college team. Unsure whether he'll travel here Thursday. My good bet is probably not. So you'll have to wait a little longer to see Jose. Today, it's about the St. Louis Cardinals' new manager Mike Matheny and Johan Santana, who makes his first appearance in 2010. Johan on the Mets' first pitch coming up. Dramatic music is usually reserved for the spring, for the regular season, not for March, but this is a big deal. Johan Santana on the mound today, facing major league opponents for the first time since September of 2010. All eyes on him against the world champs, the St. Louis Cardinals. All David Freese did was have one of the best postseasons in the history of the game. MVP of the NLCS and the World Series. Great story. It's really why we watch baseball, right? I mean, he's been hurt his whole career, and he just got hot and was awesome.
5 home runs, 21 RBI in that postseason.
And the lineup today for the Cardinals brought to you by Toyota as we take a look at the 2-time Cy Young Award winner Johan Santana. You know, he got into games last year in the Instructional League. He even got into a South Atlantic playoff game. He's pitched live batting practice here. What exactly is he feeling right now, though?
Well, you know what's interesting, Kevin, is that a year and a half ago, we were in Atlanta, and he left the game because he had some bicep tightness. We said, boy, he'll be good for his next start, as they were trying to make their own run. And he was not to be there. What is he feeling? He's feeling more butterflies than he probably has in his entire career. And you can see the Lexus Mets defense. Adam Lowen in left field, the first baseman, outfielder. Used to be a pitcher with the Orioles. Torres, Baxter, Turner, Cedeno, Valdespin, Davis, and Tolley.
Shane Robinson, the center fielder, will lead it off for the Cardinals. 5th round pick in 06 out of Florida State. As we get our first look at Santana. First pitch is upstairs, and of course we have the gun working, but as you heard Ronnie said, it's one of those things, A, the gun, a little slow, and B, it's not of concern. Health for Johan, the concern.
Well, to let you fans know, in yesterday's ball game, Matt Harvey, who's usually consistently in the 93 to 95 mile range, was throwing 87 miles an hour also. So there they are. We used to have Sandsbelt slacks when I was a kid, but now they've gotten a little better clothes. You got Rico Brogna's there for the Tampa Bay Rays, the old ex-Met. He was on that team when you were a big fan, right, Kevin, when you were younger?
Absolutely. Used to love Rico. 2-1 from Johan. Is upstairs with the fastball. As he falls behind 3-1 to Robinson, leading off the game here at Digital Domain Park. Wind's blowing in today. It'll be tough to get a home run out of here. 3-1 high again. So Johan issues a walk to his first batter. It's funny you talked about nerves with him. I asked him yesterday, are you nervous? And he said, I've never been nervous in my career, just excited. But you know what, Ronnie? Just watching him. He was out in the dugout. He was back inside watching the TV. He was all over the place because he wasn't on the mound yet, you know?
Yeah, you just get out of your normal state. He's usually calm, cool, and collected. But that first one with all this wind, too, every pitch was up in the strike zone.
Skip Schumacher, the batter now. Santana works from the stretch. And there's strike one on the corner to Schumacher, who, another one of these Cardinal guys, these utility guys that can play everywhere. And, you think back to the NLDS. The Cardinals had so many heroes last year. When Chris Carpenter outdueled Roy Halladay, well, first inning, Skip Schumacher had an RBI double. It was the only run of the game. Santana with the glove to try and turn to the save on to first, double play. Nicely done by Ronnie Cedeno with the help D, and there's 2 away.
Well, it doesn't matter what kind of surgery you have. You can't take the athleticism out of the way that Santana plays the game. Nice job by Tejada to get that left leg on the bag. This throw pretty premature and quick by Santana, off the mark. Maybe didn't catch it with his left leg. And Cedeno makes a nice play with his left foot just to get it in front and get the call from the umpire.
Santana has the Gold Glove hardware, and he shows it there as he'll face Matt Halladay. Holliday, that is. See, I said Halladay and Carpenter, now I'm confused. Matt Halladay with 2 down and nobody on. Halladay has 5 years and $86 million left on his Cardinal contract. And it's funny, when he signed the big deal initially, he said, well, how are they going to have the money for Albert Pujols? Well, they didn't, matter of fact. But you know what? There doesn't seem to be much panic in Cardinal land.
Well, I think it's pretty funny. One of the selling points to get Halladay to come to the Cardinals was, hey, listen, you're going to be hitting in front of Albert Pujols or around Albert Pujols your whole career. Well, he did for a couple of years.
His team lost a Hall of Fame player and a Hall of Fame manager, and they just are moving on. Santana's got Halladay 0-2.
Wow. All fastballs so far, not even messing with any changeups. That one, the fastest he's thrown all day at 88 miles an hour.
Why is that?
Well, once in a while, after you come off an injury, Kevin, you want to reach back and let it go. That's what he did right there. There's your first changeup. Nice block by Tolley. Why is he throwing so many fastballs? It's just, you don't even want to mess around. And one thing you've learned about Santana, even when his arm was 100%, he usually attacked hitters in that first inning anyways, always mostly with fastballs.
And he's upstairs. He's been high with that fastball in this first inning. As he goes full on Halladay. He walked Shane Robinson to lead it off, then got the 6-4-3 double play on Schumacher. Excuse me, the 1-6-3.
3-2 change here, Kevin.
See if he pulls it out of the repertoire. And Halladay puts a good swing on it, deep to center, but playable. And Torres makes the catch. Johan Santana walks off after a successful first inning back on the mound. Mets at the plate next.
You know.
Andres Torres leads off the home first for the Mets as we take a look at the Geico Mets starting lineup. So they have a split squad. They're the only split squad of the spring. Here are the guys who are playing. It's Bay, the DH. Torres slices one to left. Adron Chambers over, and he'll haul it in for out number one. Check out the lineup one more time. Bay yesterday 0 for 2. You saw last season it's a career low in batting average. Obviously, it's a huge year for him. Jordany Valdespin will take his chance against 34-year-old Jake Westbrook for the Cards, getting the call today.
You know, he had a solid season for the Cardinals last year. In fact, won a game in the postseason in relief. 12 wins, 4.68 ERA.
That game in relief was Game 6, one of the most epic games. And it's funny, it's one of those things that you know, I had to look up to remember. And I'm sure 5 years, 10 years from now, who won that game? I don't know. David Freese?
No, yeah, right.
It was Westbrook.
Yeah.
The scoreless 11th inning as he deals a strike to Valdespin.
Solid year for this young man last year, didn't he? At Binghamton for most of the year. Came up to Buffalo late.
And the number that was really up as he takes a strike of the home runs.
17,
17 home runs is a big number for him. And he had 15 in AA and then 2 after getting the call to AAA. Also a 294 combined average. This one back up the box, and he's got himself a base knock. First hit of the game goes to Valdespin. It's a big turn. He has Ronnie the athletic tools. There's no doubt about it.
This defensively for the Cardinals, brought to you by Citi. Adron Chambers at left field, Shane Robinson in center, Carpenter in right field, not Chris. David Freese at third base, Jackson at shortstop, Schumacher at second. He's fighting Tyler Green. Hamilton replacing Pujols at first base today. I don't know if he can replace him. And of course, the newly signed to an extended contract, their outstanding catcher, Yadier Molina.
So here is Jason Bay now, getting the DH spot today. 0 for 2, struck out once in the spring opener last night. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk as he takes a strike about the home runs. Clearly, that's been down. He's had the injuries with the concussions. You know, he started off last year on the disabled list, if you remember, with the oblique thing. So he missed almost a month there. The average, though, was a big thing that's concerning. You know, 245 for him is just he's never down that low. He feels, though, that at the end of last year, and he did have a good September, that he finally got back to being himself after the dreaded tinkering period, which has lasted really a year and a half.
Well, we talked about it a couple of years ago about how he wanted to change and use the whole field, and that's not something that he had done in his career. He'd always been a straight pull hitter. And in fact, when he would hit balls out to right field, A lot of people would say, well, he can drive the ball to right field. Sometimes you're just late. I mean, he is one of those guys that's been, center field and over his entire career.
And he said that, too. When he came to spring and he met the media, he said exactly that. The awaits on Westbrook's 1-1. That's high. He said, look, I'm a pull hitter, and that's who I've got to be. And, hopefully now when he hits one, to left, it'll go out and make him feel like he can be a pull hitter.
I think that when hitters come up to the major leagues, I think a hitting coach is so important to their development. But I also believe if you're a veteran player and the back of your baseball card is full of great achievements, you listen to a hitting coach less than other players because you've established yourself. You should know what makes you tick. You should be your own coach. And I think maybe Jason got away from that.
Valdespin has good speed. He had multiple games last year where he had 2 stolen bases in a game. And the Mets were off and running last night. You'd have to think that'd be a big part of their game plan this year. Stealing bases and really doing a good job of moving runners, whether it's with a sacrifice bunt or a ground ball to the right side, things like that. 2-2 to Bay. There goes Valdespin. It's outside. Throw from Molina and seal. Good luck. Molina didn't even exert any effort on that, and he threw out Valdespin from his knees.
Effort? That was a Benito Santiago. He did it from his knees. He never even stood up and threw a bullet down to second base, and this wasn't even close. They just signed him with a chance with options through the year 2018. That's what they feel about Molina.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, find me a catcher that's better than him. He is just fantastic. 3-2 to Bay is outside, so Bay draws a walk. I mean, Valdespin got a nice jump and everything. It just didn't matter.
Molina does everything. He blocked more balls in the dirt than any catcher in the major leagues last year. He throws out runners, as you just saw. He's amazing at calling a game. He's great at going out to pitchers and making them get better or pitch better. And he also provides a great offense.
That's the crazy thing about Molina. 29 years old. He plays all these games every year. He had his best offensive season last year, which says something at this point. Ike Davis is your batter now with 2 down as Johan Santana waits to get back out there for his second inning of work. Had a good first inning after walking the first batter. Started a double play and then got Matt Holliday to fly out. So he'll get out there for another inning. Davis takes a strike. out, it's called, and so there's nothing that we can do. Sun outage it is, so we're glad you're back to see Johan on the mound facing Yadier Molina.
So we were brilliant there.
We were awesome. Best work yet. 1-0, and Molina fouls it back. We talked about Molina after he threw out Valdez being by a country mile. At age 29, he came through. He's been phenomenal defensively, but he had 305, 14 home runs last year. He's just a total package, and that's why he got rewarded. You know, there's a lot of talk about an extension with him, and they did just that. 5 years, $75 million to this man.
Boy, best changeup so far by Santana. When he's on, you can know it's coming, and you still can't hit it because he has not only the great motion, but the ball tails away or in. He can do both ways, and then that speed catching or lack of speed.
Another chance for Cedeno. He's got time to recover, though, and he does throw out Molina, 2 down. Is there a certain pitch that you think that would be you'd be a little bit more worrisome about throwing it for Johan, or maybe you would feel it a little bit differently?
I don't think worrisome, but I think he wants to get through this first outing, although he's going to be facing a left-handed hitter here, without throwing too many breaking balls. Just keep it simple, try to spot his fastball, throw changeup, but I think the breaking ball, really snapping one off, would be one that you'd maybe want to use the next time out.
Mark Hamilton, first baseman today, takes strike 1. Johan, and again, we talked not really watching velocity, but you know, when I've looked, he hit 90 once with a fastball so far today. He's been upper 80s, and this was a slow gun last night. So we're not watching, but we are watching, I guess, a little bit.
You know, that gun can tell you how hard he's throwing, but the hitters so far are telling you how hard he's throwing because they're a little behind that fastball.
And he's got Hamilton 1-2. Johan Santana, 40-25, a 2.85 ERA as a New York Met. Sometimes you don't realize just how good someone is till they're gone. 1-2. And that's going to extend the inning. Mark Hamilton with a base knock. First hit for the Cardinals. A 2-out runner for the Redbirds.
Right fielder, number 62, Matt Carpenter.
Bring up Matt Carpenter, take a look at his numbers. This guy is a natural third baseman. He's a prospect, drafted at 13th round in 09 from TCU, but he's 26 years old, and so the Cardinals' plan is to kind of put him all over the place. He's in right field today. See if he could be a utility guy and make the team. He takes strike 1 from Santana.
Well, the real race, though, and down in Jupiter in the Cardinals camp is going to be who has the best spring to replace Albert Pujols at first base. Nice start there by Hamilton with that BB for a hit.
Santana's got Carpenter 0-2. Well, in the regular season, they're going to move Berkman to first base. And, of course, the former Met Carlos Beltran signed to play right field. And I was talking to Derek Gould, one of the Cardinals writers today, and he said, you know who's going to replace Pujols? That would be Adam Wainwright, getting him back.
Right. And his 20 wins that he usually gets in a season.
0-2 from Johan until he gets out there to block it. Johan's bounced a couple of the changes, but he also snapped off a beauty. That is not Adam Wainwright. He is getting his first start of the spring on Friday. Shows you the depth that the Cardinals had, right? I mean, they lose an ace. They have 2 with Carpenter, and they still are able to win the World Series. Now they get back Wainwright. This huge. 1-2.
They got a strike throwing staff, though. You think of Carpenter, you think of Wainwright, they're perennial Cy Young candidates. As R.A. Dickey gets loose. But then you go down. You got Jake Westbrook, who's pitching today, a strike thrower. Kyle Loesch, another strike thrower. And to round out the left-hander Jaime Garcia, who can have flashes of brilliance.
He throws that bowling ball up there, get a lot of ground balls. And trying to get out of the inning and have a successful first time out. Adam Lowen, was he going to run out of room? Just couldn't get there. He was trying to kind of size it up.
Well, the way the wind's coming right now, Kevin, if you're the left fielder, you have to go right to the stands. Everything with the wind is going to be pushed towards that left field wall. So just sprint right there, and the ball will come right to you. You know, Adam started out as a pitcher. He's still learning how to play that outfield position.
He's played more right field, too, in his limited time. That's probably where he's most comfortable. So Johan will have to make another pitch. 2-2 to Matt Carpenter. Run on first is Mark Hamilton, who singled. The only hit off Santana. He also has a walk. Right side, and Ike Davis will corral it and take care of it. And Johan Santana, 2 solid innings. He's got to feel good about that as he runs off the field. Johan looking good today. Turner leads off the home second for the Mets. Scoreless at Digital Domain Park against Jake Westbrook so far. Mets had a single by Jordani Valdespin in the first, was gunned down by Yadier Molina. But the story is Johan Santana. His 2 innings are complete. 29 pitches for him and 1 walk, 1 hit. Made a nice play in the field, the glove, and as Michael Cleto warms up, the flamethrower. We'll see him next for the Cardinals. You know, I tell you, that was fun to watch Johan out there today. And I talked to a couple players, and Justin Turner, who's at the plate right now, and I said, hey, what does this feel like for you? He said, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to see him pitch. So as we see Johan walking in, and you know everybody's pumped up. They're all on the top step watching him pitch today. It's a big deal. As strike 3 called on Turner, so Westbrook has his second K.
Well, if I had to give a report card, I would say inconclusive but trending towards an A. He looked free and easy. He was throwing 88, 89, 90 miles per hour, which is fine. You know, maybe overthrew in that first inning, but as free and easy as I've seen him throw as a Met. So that was just a fantastic sign for the team and the Mets fans.
Well, he'll get the congratulations here. I mean, you think about Johan, and I said, you know, you certainly he's an ace, and this team needs him. Totally a chopper, and he's going to be retired by Ryan Jackson. There's 2 down, but hey, you look at what he's done. I mean, only Roy Halladay of active pitchers has a better winning percentage. Santana 133 and 69. I mean, that's just an outlandish number. He's going to be 33 on March 13th. But this is a guy that brings just so much more than on the field. I mean, I think it's very simple. When you see him in the clubhouse, the other guys follow what he does, especially the pitchers. As Adam Lowen is the batter now with 2 down and 0 on. 27-year-old former pitcher. former first rounder of the Orioles back in '02. He's a big dude, 6'6", 235. Kind of looks like he could be the lead singer of like Soundgarden or something.
There you go.
You know?
You know, he was in 1996. He played on that Canadian team that went to the Little League World Series.
Was it Surrey, British Columbia?
Surrey, British Columbia.
Just outside Vancouver.
6th pick of the Orioles. And he had chronic arm injuries as a pitcher, and just wanted to take a shot at doing what he had done his whole life, and that is pitch and now play the outfield.
Throws a 4-pitch walk, and you know he's right in the thick of the race to make this Mets team as a lefty bat off the bench, reserve outfielder, and especially now with the injury to Scott Hairston, who's got a bad oblique injury. He's got a real shot here, and so does this guy, Mike Baxter, who gets a start in right field tonight. You know, just staying with Johan for one more second, how much of it for him, Ronnie, is just getting by today and saying, you know, feeling tomorrow as we take a look at Hairston and saying, all right, did it? I feel good. Let's move on to start number 2. I mean, is that an obstacle in itself, just getting that first one out of the way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, he's going to go do his work in the training room, get ice, all those things. And when and if he feels great tomorrow, then it's going to be a real load off his shoulders. And then he knows he can just go out and get ready for the beginning of the season. I don't think that, you know, and I've been around this game a long time, since I was 20 years old. I can name on one hand pitchers that have been leaders on their ball club, starting pitchers. And he certainly is one of those for the New York Mets.
Jackson will take it himself, and the inning is over. Mets have a walk. They leave 1. We've played 2. No score. R.A. Dickey is next.
Mets 6-game pack.
Checking out the outside of Digital Domain Park. Very artsy by the crew today. I like it. And a great day to have the kids here. She is enjoying herself.
You got to put the suntan lotion on.
I don't know if there's more suntan lotion or cookie over her, but she's having a great time, that's for sure. I believe Mets fans are too after Johan Santana's solid 2-inning debut. Now he turns it over to his starting rotation mate as R.A. Dickey takes over in the 3rd. And Dickey will face Ryan Jackson, started off for strike 1. Take a look at Jackson's numbers, who was rated maybe the best defensive shortstop in the '09 draft out of the University of Miami. Had 34 doubles last year at Double-A. Ronnie, you called it interesting today with the wind gusting in to see R.A.'s knuckler. You know, the interesting thing for him, this is his 3rd year as a Met now. And, you know, he got off to a sluggish start last year, but then really turned it on, had an excellent second half. But he toyed with that slow knuckleball and also threw more fastballs at the beginning of the year. The wind may bring this back now. It's too far out. So you wonder now, Does he stay with that in his repertoire? Did he like it enough to try to keep refining it, or does he scrap it and go back just to the one old knuckleball?
You know, I don't think you scrap it. I said it in spring training when we talked about him working in the slow knuckleball. I thought that was a bad idea. I thought that that's a pitch that once he gets into the rhythm of the game as he throws that,
there it is.
Right there. Once you get into the rhythm of the game, that's a fun pitch to throw. But he had been so good with 99% of those hard knuckleballs that you would hope he would stay with that. But you know, R.A. is such a bright guy. I'm sure that at times he must just get bored doing the same thing. He just wants to tweak it a little bit.
Here's Adrian Chambers now, the left fielder, absolute speedster on the bases if he gets on. That's fans. You might remember him from the Mets' late trip to St. Louis. He had a bases clearing triple, I believe, in that game. And he also, his first major league hit was an extra innings game winner against the Phillies in that stretch run. As R.A., that's an easy one for him. Quickly 2 down.
I just find it so interesting that R.A. Dickey, who has a myriad of interests, who is about as smart as anyone you're going to get in a baseball uniform, makes his living throwing one pitch. You know, there's no ability for him to, you know, throw a slow curveball here, fastball, sink it away, all those things that I'm sure he loved to do when he was in his college career, but now, of course, has established himself as a knuckleball pitcher.
Well, I guess you could say, as this is third year, as we go back to the top of the order with Shane Robinson, who walked his first time. You know, R.A. was all about reinventing himself, you know, and trying to get that. Oh, nice play by Turner. And Ike with the stretch. He's on the bag. Beautifully done in the field by the Mets. Man, that was nice. Turner with the glove. Ike Davis with the stretch. No score, middle 3 here in Port St. Lucie. Nice. Get a one-of-a-kind look at Met spring training with the latest news from Port St. Lucie. Insider info, exclusive interviews, and behind-the-scenes video on Mets Blog, presented by Verizon, featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. As we go to the bottom of the third, Michael Colito, definition of a flamethrower, is in there for the Cardinals.
Well, he came up and they were trying to give him an hard, but didn't, you can see by his numbers, didn't really pan out, but they're looking for him to have a big spring training.
He'll face the 9-hitter in today's order, Ronnie Cedeno, 29 years old, signed to back up Ruben Tejada at shortstop. Good fielder. We saw that earlier in the game on that double play that Santana started. 246 career hitter. He's been with the Cubs, the Mariners, and the opening day starter the last 2 years for the Pittsburgh Pirates. As he takes a heater outside, Colito will give you an idea what kind of talent he has. He, you know, again, and control has been a big thing, but And Baseball America says that last May in a game, he had 102 on the gun and then topped 100 a dozen times in the game. A dozen.
Where are these guys coming from? It started with what? Aroldis Chapman throwing 105, 106 miles an hour.
Chance for Schumacher on the 360, and Cedeno retired. Schumacher in a race for second base with a few other Cardinals there, and got Danny Descalso, Tyler Green. So the crazy thing, again, all those guys, if they don't win the starting second baseman job, they could kind of play anywhere. That's the beauty of it for them.
And you know, the other thing, Kevin, we tend to forget with a change of manager is a change of scenery and eyes. Sometimes a guy like Schumacher might be the perfect guy for Tony La Russa, but maybe not so much for Mike Matheny. Sometimes things can change for players on a team when the management changes.
Andres Torres 0 for 1 as we take a look at Matheny. What an interesting choice, right, for the Cardinals. A guy that was just loved by pitchers and a great defensive catcher, a Gold Glover.
3 times for the Cardinals. He was on their championship team. Not world championship team, but their National League championship team. He was just one of those guys that if you talk to any pitcher, he just was the ultimate pro. Put catching first, hitting second, great teammate. And that's the reason that he has that position today.
No managing experience at any level.
Him and Robin Ventura happened about the same time, right?
Yeah. And, you know, when you look at Matheny, he had to retire because of concussion syndrome. And he said this spring, I'm not writing out, I don't know what the lineup's going to be. It's a fluid situation. I think you hit it, Ronnie. You know, this is a little different now. A little different way of thinking. And so he's going to keep his options open as Torres takes that breaker inside. 2-2 to Andres Torres. You look at Matheny. Here's a nugget on him. How about this? The coaching that he did at the beginning of last year. Now, he was a special assistant in the organization. He was an assistant Little League coach last year at the beginning of the year. You know who was on the team? As Torres takes that one the other way. Chambers fields, and Torres obviously a threat to steal on first with a 1-out single. So he's a Little League coach. On the team was A.J. Pujols, son of Albert Pujols. Talk about irony.
That's right. The problem is when A.J. Pujols is playing the same position as your son, what decision do you make then?
Yeah, I don't think his son's playing. That's for sure. So Torres, who had a walk and a steal last night and then scored a run on Daniel Murphy's single. We'll see if he'll test the arm of Yadier Molina, who gunned down Valdespin trying to steal earlier in the game. Valdespin at the plate now and takes strike 1. Torres does have 45 steals the last 2 years. And, you know, talking to him last night, he said, look, I'm going to be aggressive. I plan to be really aggressive. And I think the Mets need him to be. Fastball, the pick down by Familia. Always got to be on your toes. Boy, oh boy.
He moves that ball around the infield like it's on a string. It's amazing.
Now Despin takes a hack at the 1-1. You know, we're talking about catchers, right, Ronnie? And you look at the last 16 years, 8 World Series have been won by former catchers. Now, Joe Torre won 4 of them with the Yankees, but you look at the list, and Brenly with the Diamondbacks beat the Yanks, Socha with the Angels, Girardi recently, and then Bochy with the Giants. I mean, you always feel like, you know, catchers make good managers, and the catching is such a thinking position, and recent history supports that. Now, before that, there was, you know, you can't really support the argument before the last 16 years as pickoff goes awry, and Torres may have a chance to go 3 here. He's going to try it. It's down the line, and Torres going to make it, no problem. Alert base running by Torres. He goes to third on the errant throw by Michael Calito.
Well, Calito tried to rush it over there, and the first baseman Hamilton could not get to it. And once it bounced around that bullpen area, nice job by Torres making the turn to get into third. That's the kind of havoc you want to see him wreak for these New York Mets.
So, as we saw the graphic, do catchers make good managers, and why?
Oh, well, they do make outstanding managers, and the reason being, and they don't have to be a star player. Only Joe Torre really was the star player of that group. Scioscia had a nice career. Brenly had a solid career. So did Girardi, Matheny, but not what you'd call stars. The reason being is that they sit on in every meeting. They're in pitcher-catchers meetings. They have to know every defensive play. They've got to know every sign from the manager that comes out. They've got to be able to deal with people, and that's pitchers. Some people don't even think they're people, but they have to deal with pitchers and their different emotions, and all that skill set just puts you in position to be perfect to be a manager of young men someday. And it's not a surprise that's the number that you research today.
Infield in, Valdez-Bean trying to get the run home and pokes it foul. These are the situations here that Terry Collins was talking about. He has said, you know, look, we're up near tops in the league as far as sacrifices, but we have to be way better than everybody else. We can't just be near the top. We have to be number one and far and away number one for us to win games.
Well, the infield's in, so you got to get the ball in the air. That's what Valdez-Bean has got to be thinking about.
And he does just that. This one should do the job, certainly, with Torres' speed. Robinson fields. The throw, Wynn pushes it up the line, and because of that, Torres scores with ease. Sacrifice fly, Jordani Valdez-Bean, and it's a 1-0 Met lead.
Just picture perfect by Valdez-Bean. That was a pretty good breaking ball that he got up in the air. Great job by Torres getting to third base on that wild throw by Cleto.
You know, it's 4 at-bats. Not going to go crazy here, but, you know, the Mets obviously need somebody to take over in that leadoff spot and create some energy. Sure looks like Torres has that ability, doesn't it?
Yeah, how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
Let them see what you can do straight away.
Want to know to Jason Bay. 0 for 2 last night. Walked his first trip up. Playing the DH role today. 3rd year of that 4-year contract with the Mets, and I guess you can make an argument he's got the most to prove to anybody on this roster. And really, Sandy Alderson said everybody on this roster has something to prove.
No one had a career year. I'd say, boy, R.A. Dickey might have had, you know, one of the better years. You know, of course, we're taking Jose out of the mix, won a batting title, but is no longer here.
And Bay watches that one outside and a little low, so he draws another walk. 2 walks for Bay today. And a 2-out runner. Give a chance for Ike Davis.
I just think the Mets coming into this season, Terry Collins has his thumb on it. You know, they've just got to play the correct way. And what does that mean? I mean, to use the Knicks. Knicks were not a good basketball team. Then they had one kid come in who decided, you know what, we're all going to pass. We're going to pass to the guy that's open. What a concept, right? Well, it's not that hard. It's the same concept of baseball. Get the bunt down. Make sure you get a guy in. Make sure you move a guy over. Make sure you throw strikes. It's not that difficult to do normal, run-of-the-mill, winning kind of things. And that leads to, you know, a chance for the whole, it becomes a climate of what you're going to do, and that's what Terry has been trying to do this last season plus.
Well, this guy's a big part of it, and we talked about Ike Davis and, you know, the health thing with the Valley Fever, and it's going to be something we're going to watch probably the whole year. But you forget, before he got hurt with that crazy injury in Colorado, the guy was batting over 300 with 8 home runs 5 weeks in. It's just one a mile high, but the wind is blowing in big time, and because of it, no chance. Bay is racing around the bags, but it's going to be caught by Matt Carpenter. Bay alert running on that play with the wind. The Carpenter hauls it in, and the Mets strand 1. But they do score. The sac fly by Valdez-Bean to grab the lead. off against R.A. Dickey in his second inning of work, and he takes the knuckler outside. Story of this game, Johan Santana, 2 solid innings for him. He threw 29 pitches, 1 hit, 1 walk. And I would say just looked comfortable out there. That's the thing.
If you didn't know he had had an arm injury and this is the first time he pitched in a major league game since 2010, you would have known that, right?
That's probably the biggest compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, right? What else can you say is more of a compliment than that?
But what I look for is a guy who comes back from an injury. He's changed his arm slot. He's thrown from a different angle. Speed's way down. None of that the case for Santana. 2-1
as Schumacher takes a strike. And Schumacher, the guy that got Santana's glove involved into a 1-6-3 double play. Dickey's 2-2. Oh, man. You know, that movement with the wind, that's a toughie. And Schumacher down on strike. Second strikeout for R.A. Dickey, and there's 1 down.
This is something we saw him do a lot 2 years ago. That knuckler that stays inside and down and in. It's almost like a hard slider from a traditional kind of pitcher. A real trouble spot for a left-handed hitter.
Matt Holliday, the batter now. Holliday, you know, last year, obviously, all the postseason was on, you know, David Freese and Tony La Russa basically using his bullpen in the 4th inning of games. You know, Matt Holliday didn't have the best World Series, but he absolutely killed the Brewers in the National League Championship Series. Batted over 400 in that series.
Well, he had a tough year last year. He only appeared in 124 games. I think he had the sports hernia. And there's John Roush. You can only get about half of him in the picture. He's so tall.
Have to buy some new lenses.
There you go.
I'm just excited he's on the team because Keith could call him the Wookiee every time he's in game. Keith is fired up.
Trust me, Keith is not going to call him the Wookiee when he's on the team.
Well, now that he has to face him.
Yes, exactly.
Little tapper. Dickey uses the bare hand and he gets Holliday, and there's quickly 2 down here in the 4th. See the thing yesterday with John Roush and working around. I mean, Roush is just huge, and you can't even, it doesn't even do it justice when you're next to him. Danny Herrera, who is 5'6", John Roush, who is 6'11". So Herrera tried on Roush's pants, and the only thing that stuck out was his head. And it looked like some kind of exotic plant with the hair. It was quite.
That's right. He's got some good moss, doesn't he?
That is quality. That's a quality dude. Here is Freese. Turner. Nice backhand. Turner's made a couple nice defensive plays. Easy inning. Here we go. Put on those pants, Danny. Look at some back. Bragging rights and an invitation to the big dance up for grabs. Get your nightly recap of the Big East tournament with a complete breakdown of the day's first round matchups, post-game reactions, exclusive interviews. Big East Nightly presented by Blimpie tonight at 11:30. Only on SNY. Gary Cohen is right in the middle of it. That's Seton Hall tonight at the Garden is Justin Turner, first pitch swinging. And he hits it sharply right at Matt Carpenter, though. One pitch and one away. Scott Linebrink, veteran reliever. He'll be in next for the Cardinals. Mike Oclito in his second inning of work, as we'll see Josh Tolle. Hoping to talk to Josh when he's out of the game today because he caught Johan Santana. You know, for all that was said about Josh, and certainly he had a tough beginning to last year, both offensively and defensively. You know, he really came on, Ronnie, and you know, since the end of May, he had a .299 average and 29 RBIs, and he finished at .268. So offensively, it seemed like he kind of got back to who he was.
Yeah, know thyself is the most important thing in this game. And I think, you know, early on in spring training, we addressed it, you addressed it, that he was trying to maybe pull the baseball occasionally when they were crowding him inside, looking for that pitch inside. That's usually a thing that comes for a veteran hitter 4 or 5 years down the road. I think his goal and his strength is up the middle. You know, I think at some point he wants to hit a few more doubles. There's going to be some home runs here or there, but I don't see him being over 10 at any point in his career. He should be a doubles machine. That's what he should be looking for. And
I think he got into that groove. You know, he had 3 home runs in the spring last year, and who knows, maybe that came into his swing a little bit. But he did find it and had a very good offensive second half as he draws a walk right here. All right, Dickie's got the headset on. All right, it's Kevin and Ron upstairs. Thanks for joining us. And must be fun to throw the knuckleball when you got 40-mile-an-hour winds at your back today, huh?
Well, normally it's tough. It's tough when the wind's pushing it in from the, especially on the slower ones. It just kind of pushes it to the plate before it has a chance to break. But today, you know, I had a good feel for it. And fun things usually happen when you got a good feel for it.
You know, R.A., I was talking up here in the booth, and for a man like yourself who's a renaissance man, a myriad of interests, use one pitch to get hitters out, which I find it's a bit ironic.
Yeah, except for that last one to freeze is a little two-seamer, but outside of that, you know, you're right.
All right, here you are in your 3rd year with the Mets, and you know, it's funny when you look at your story and how it's evolved. And you know, I remember when you came up, you're talking about what it's taken to get to this point. Do you feel that you are, you know, established? Do you feel like you are? I know you're always trying to better yourself, but do you feel like you are where you want to be, and you know, comfortable as a knuckleballer at this point in your life and in your career?
I think I'm comfortable. I don't know if I necessarily feel like I'm established. I feel like I've got a lot that I can still learn with the pitch, and that's what makes it fun coming to the park every day. Is that you get a chance to really kind of hone your craft. And with the knuckleball, it's an ever-evolving thing. So, and I don't want to take anything for granted. I think one of the things that has helped me get here was that I felt like I had to prove myself every time out, and that's still a feeling that's kind of ingrained in me, and I don't know if I'll ever change, even if I win 2 or 3 Cy Young awards, hopefully.
R.A., as a teammate of Johan Santana, watching him pitch today, what did it mean to you?
Oh man, just hearing his name announced to pitch a game is mellifluous. I mean, it's beauty. I'm so thankful that he's there and he's healthy. He puts us all in our right slot, and it's just nice to have him. You know, a high tide raises all ships, and he is definitely a high tide.
You know, we talked to R.A. As Mike Baxter hits one down at first, only play at first, so that'll move everybody up with 2 down. We talk about Johan in the clubhouse and his presence there and his leadership ability. And how would you describe it? You know, being a teammate for him from the stuff that we don't get to see, how would you describe him away from the field?
You know, Johan is kind of a walk silently, carry a big stick kind of guy, which it's fun to watch how he goes about his business, how he prepares, things like that. But he offers a lot to our team and brings a lot to especially the younger guys who can watch him and kind of learn from him.
I'm not sure if Tim Burdack is contacting NASA, but he's over your shoulder right now.
Yeah, no, I can feel him. Whenever he's around, I can feel him. Melon.
R.A., a very efficient performance today. Thanks for throwing on the headset for a couple moments.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. See you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. R.A. Dickey, the Xerox Business of Baseball. We thank him for coming on for a moment with us. 2 down, an RBI opportunity for Ronnie Cedeno now with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Mets already with a 1-0 lead in the home fourth, as Cleto just misses there. See Josh Tolley, who walked, and then Adam Lowen, who went the other way and blooped a single into left while we were talking to R.A. Dave Burdack is just something, huh?
At Burdack in his second year here, I think we're going to see more and more of that unique personality.
I mean, it's 2 games in. We've already seen enough. We've already seen it. Two and 2 to Cedeno. Look out over in those new seats down the right field line here at Digital Domain Park. Again, it'll be a 2-2. It's high. So good at bat by Ronnie Cedeno here. And let's face it, Cedeno brought in, as insurance. But, look, if Ruben Tejada has a tough go, I mean, Ruben's a young guy, but this is a guy that has started plenty of major league games and is a reliable guy. And
he's also got a little bit of pop. He's a pretty good hitter.
Good eye, too. As he watched that one just break outside, and now the bases are loaded for Andres Torres back to the top of the order, and that'll be it for Mike Cleto. Mike Matheny out. Guys on short pitch counts at this point anyway, so Cleto may have reset, or Mike Matheny might just have seen enough. He goes to the veteran Scott Linebrink here. We'll take a break with the Cardinals pitching change. Mets have the bases loaded. See if they get some more runs in next. Mets have the bases loaded in the home fourth. 2 down for Andres Torres against the veteran righty Scott Linebrink now in relief of Michael Cleto. 1-0 Mets here in the fourth. Take a look at the numbers for Linebrink, who just keeps on keeping on.
Yeah, he was outstanding last year. He's been outstanding his entire career. Started in San Diego, White Sox, Atlanta Braves, now here with the Cardinals.
Torres takes a strike. Torres 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored, and moved around to third on that error by Cleto, and then a sac fly by Valdespin. Here in this inning was a Tolley walk, a low and opposite field single, and then Cedeno walk. As Mike Matheny went to the veteran here. Torres puts a charge into one. Center field right into the teeth of that wind. And this one is going to get the carousel moving. Tolley comes in. Lowen comes in. Cedeno comes in. It's a 3-run triple for Andres Torres. Welcome to the New York Mets. What a start.
Well, when you watch Andres Torres hit, he's a guy that usually will get bunt base hits and move the ball around the field, but he also has some pop. And on this occasion, he took that ball right between the right fielder and center fielder, split them, almost hit it out of the ballpark with this wind blowing in. So it really shows how much power he has and empties the bases.
I mean, that was right into the heart of the wind, right into it. And Torres is going to get a pinch runner now. Is Matthew Den Decker, highly regarded Mets prospect, comes in for Torres, so his day is done. He'll be the runner at third and take over in center field. Mets not done. Now up 4-0 with 2 down, and here's Valdespin again with an RBI opportunity. Had a sac fly his last time up. Takes a slider inside, 1-0. Let's start by Torres. I mean, it's 2 spring games, but man, I mean, you've seen that energy on the bases with the steals, with the movement, scoring a couple runs, and that was impressive right into the wind.
Well, 2 seasons ago when the Giants won that World Championship, he was money. Every time they needed a big hit, every time they needed him to get on base, he just seemed to invariably do that, and then just had that down season last year trying to rebound with the Mets.
Big hack. That one goes foul. It is amazing. Torres, 34 years old, right? So at 32, 2 years ago, made a team for the first time in his life. I mean, how many guys in the game do that? At age 32, make a team at a camp for the first time.
I think it's very difficult for guys to take no for an answer over and over and over and still have the wherewithal to keep playing, keep chasing that dream.
2-1, jams Valdespin, and Schumacher will end the inning. Big 3-run triple by Torres, and then there's this. Hulkamania running wild. Jim Burback is just out of his mind. That's up 4-0. Matt Den Decker takes over for Andres Torres in center field. He, of course, pinch ran after the Torres 3-run triple. He's the only change for the Mets, along with this guy. 6'11", John Rauch, one of the big offseason acquisitions. Mets went out and got him for $3.5 million, and he's expected to be a big part of the revamped back of the bullpen.
Yeah, he is a workhorse. You see 53 games, but last season battled a myriad of injuries, so he'll be a workhorse for these Mets.
And his first batter is the catcher, Yadier Molina. He takes a strike inside. Special guest in the booth today, Ron. We're really happy to have Jay Hook with us. Jay, the first Met victory in the history of the franchise back in 1962. And you threw out the first pitch today to Al Jackson, which was a very cool moment, two of the original Mets. And we have to go back. First, can you believe it's been 50 years? 50 years? 50 years.
Al and I were saying 50 years ago, no way we thought we'd get to this day.
Oh, man. You know, it's funny. When you look back at that start, here you are, a new organization. You know, Casey Stengel at the helm. So you get the start, and Molina going the other way. Baxter on his horse, and Yadier Molina has a leadoff single against John Roush here in the fifth. It was what, a 0-9 to start, I believe.
0-9. We had lost 9, and I think the Pirates had won. They would have set a new record for starts and wins.
That's a lot of I mean, not only are you trying to get the first win of the year, Jay, you're trying to get the first win ever. That's a lot of pressure, right?
You know, but we didn't think about it that way, Kevin. You know, all we wanted was a win. We didn't think it was ever.
Sure. Take it any way you can get it at that point, right?
Right.
What was it like to play for the late great, of course, Casey Stengel?
You know, I've made so many positive comments about Casey. He was probably one of the most quick-witted people that I'd ever met, and he knew a lot about baseball, but he knew a lot about marketing the club, and he worked, you know, very effectively with the sports writers and the sportscasters and that sort of thing. So he brought a lot of positive things to the papers and the fans in New York.
Coy Hill running for Molina at first as we took a look at Johan Familia, one of the real good prospects for the Mets who will be in next. That'll be fun to watch him pitch. We're talking to Jay Hook, who got the first win for the Mets ever back in 1962. What are you doing now?
We live in northern Michigan, have a farm, actually.
Really?
I've retired 3 times, so different things.
Each time to the farm, or did you have different types of retirements?
No, after I retired from baseball, I went to work in Detroit, in the Detroit area. I worked for several different companies and managed big organizations, and then I became a professor at Northwestern University after I retired early from industry.
Actually, was at Northwestern as Mark Hamilton rips one to the left center field gap. Den Decker is chasing. Coy Hill is racing around third, and he is going to score. It's an RBI double for Mark Hamilton, getting the Cardinals on the boards. Now 4-1 Mets.
There's not many pitchers that get the first win for an organization and then get their masters in thermodynamics. I'm just telling you, that doesn't happen, Kevin. You know, one thing I wanted to ask you, the Mets team today is going through an entire winter now in spring training. There's a lot of doubters. They're not going to be able to compete in the National League East. You know, they're not going to be a good team. Spring training is 62. You're in spring training with all these guys been taking the expansion draft. Did you think you were going to have a bad team? Did you know?
No, we really didn't.
Yeah.
Whoops, there's a hit.
Matt Carpenter, runners in the quarters now for the Cards. Go ahead, Dave.
We had Gil Hodges and Duke Snyder and Charlie Neal and Roger Craig, and we had a lot of experienced players. And when I got to camp, I thought, man, this is going to be a pretty. Didn't turn out that way, but
hope springs eternal, right? What about the game? I mean, are you still a big fan of the game? And if so, how different are things that you see? What that you know what it was when you played?
Well, there's a lot more attention to detail, I think. Walking around spring training here, you see all the statistics and all the other stuff that the coaches are following, and that.
About well, I was lucky enough to train at the same place as you did, Hug and Stengel, and the field and conditions and the clubhouses are a little different than our times there, weren't they, Jay?
They're considerably different. Considerably different. Al Jackson. Let's hope it's a double play.
Justin Turner starts it, can't finish it though. Mets try to turn 2 there, but they get 1, and coming home to score is Mark Hamilton. So credit the RBI to Ryan Jackson, who stays on at first. Carpenter erased at second.
You know, Ron, when you were there, probably, we wanted something to eat. It was a bowl of soup.
That's right, bowl of soup, and you could, maybe they had the crowd. They used to just have a tureen of soup, Kevin, and let's just say that ball players don't have the greatest manners, you know, so that you wanted to get into that tureen early.
Adrian Chambers, the batter. Was it soup or was it technically gruel? I mean,
well, it might have been a little of both. It's great to be with you guys. You know, you both have such great voices. And, you know, listen to the vibrancy in those voices. It's great.
Jay, I'll take any compliment I can get. So I appreciate it. Hey, let's talk about Northwestern, because it was there. You had a chance to guard Will Chamberlain. Am I
Someone told you that story.
Someone told me the story.
Yeah,
Birdie told me.
Well, actually, it was Chamberlain's first game in college.
Oh gosh, really?
At Kansas, and he was terrific. He was thin then, before he bulked up in the pros, and we were losing at the end of the game, and we went into a zone press where
Toley's throw down a second, and not in time. Good jump by Ryan Jackson.
But we went into a zone press, and we had somebody in each quadrant of the floor, and one guy chased the ball. Well, I was the guy that chased the ball. and they threw the ball to Chamberlain at midcourt, and I went running at him to try to jump to knock the ball out. He didn't throw it. He didn't do anything. He just raised his arm up, and I hit him about at the bicep level. Talking about feeling ineffective, that was the epitome of it.
It's like the big bully in the playground, right? They stole your lunch. It's up here, and there's nothing you can do about it. Jump as high as you can.
You know, a lot of people said about Chamberlain when he was in college that not only was he the tallest person on the court, invariably he was the fastest person on the court.
He led fast breaks. Yeah. He was terrific. He really was good.
Well, Jay, look at it this way. At least you weren't the guy that scored 100 against. It could have been worse. As Chambers goes down on strike, so Roush picks up out number 2 in the inning. Bring it back to the top of the order with Shane Robinson, the center fielder.
You know, Santana looked terrific today, didn't he?
Yeah, I wanted to ask your opinion on that. You know, here's this guy coming from the surgery that not many pitchers, only a couple, have had. What was your take, just watching him out there?
I was surprised he threw the ball 90 miles an hour. Yeah. I was talking to Terry Collins before the game, and he said that you know, he didn't expect him to throw too hard today. But I was surprised that he was up over 90.
Did he look to you like a guy who was throwing relatively free and easy?
He did. He looked terrific. I just thought he looked great. And I know he said, you know, a number of surgeries that we were talking about. And I was up in New York with Tommy John. Talked to him.
Listen.
Well, a little both.
Here's a check swing back to Roush, and the inning is over. Cardinals pick up a couple. Jay Hook with us. Jay, it's so good to hear from you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Kevin. Nice to be with you.
Your first win in Mets history. Mets hoping to get a few more of those this year. We'll be back. 4-2 Mets, home fifth here in Port St. Lucie, Florida. Coy Hill is the new catcher replacing Yadier Molina. Molina had a good day today as Bay rips one right to David Freese. And there's one away. Bay has his first official plate appearance, walked his first 2 trips. And that'll bring up Ike Davis, who's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly out to right. Good to hear from Jay Hook today. He's a brilliant, fun guy too.
He is so humble. When he got his master's, I was mentioning thermodynamics, as you see Freeman in left field. Then went to work for Chrysler in the heyday.
Right.
Went to Rockwell Industries that made the parts for the space shuttle. I mean, he's a very humble guy. Yeah, I live in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan on the farm. He did a lot of great things.
How many, it's like you said, how many guys get done with their baseball career and then go do that? It's pretty impressive, man. I
didn't get a chance to ask him the inning, but I just wanted to ask him. He was a bonus baby when he signed. Went to the Cincinnati Reds, and his career numbers didn't pan out certainly like he thought they would. And I was going to ask him what it was like to be a bonus baby in those days, as opposed to a guy today, whether it's Strasburg or Harper.
You had the best question, though. The best question was about spring training, and he said, "No, we thought we were going to." That's the thing.
Yeah.
Nobody comes into spring training thinking that they're not going to have a good year. And that's the beautiful thing about it. The beautiful thing about the game at this point.
Other than the spring trainings when I was hurt, so you're just trying to get on the field, which I was lucky enough to be able to get on the field by April. You would come to spring training, Kevin. This is going to be. I'm winning 20 this year. This is my year. Now I never won 20 games, but I always felt like that when I would come to spring training.
Was everyone also in the best shape of their life in spring training?
Not in our days. Yeah, we always had a half dozen guys that we used to call it. Hopefully, no one will get out of sorts here. We used to have these jackets made of this rubber material that would make everyone just sweat like you've never seen people sweat. We used to call it the heart attack jacket. So hopefully, no one will get upset. But it would make guys sweat like you've never seen people sweat before. And we had a couple of players that would wear that to dinner.
The winter slog.
Just to get underweight.
Get rid of the winter slog. 2-2 to Davis, and he jams him. Hamilton bobbles, and just in time to recover. Line Brink alertly covering. And Davis retired for the second out.
We've seen that play a couple times, haven't we, where the first baseman ventures a little too far away from the base and then makes it a more difficult play. You see Ike not running particularly well, but maybe I think early here in spring training not trying to push that ankle.
Also kind of slipped out of the box, too. He's run the bases, and he's insisted that the ankle is completely fine. 2 down, bases empty for Justin Turner, who's 0 for 2, as you saw. Had a good day in the field, though. Made a couple nice plays at third base. He will be the jack of all trades. He has 6 gloves he's carrying around in his bag this year. Terry Collins said that he is the backup first baseman, a position he has not played at a major league level. He has played some in the minors, but not a ton. And I asked him what the 6 gloves are specifically for. His answer: to field ground balls. Well, and they're going to be fielding in a lot of different positions, too.
If I were him, and honestly, it's not for everybody, but if he ever learned how to just catch a little bit in the National League, there'll always be a place for him, because every team needs that one guy to be able to go there in case they bat one of the extra catchers and an injury occurs.
Emergency. Here young prospect. Breaking ball. Turner. But it's right at Schumacher. 3 innings. Metro in the 5th. Baseball on SNY, brought to you by Citi. Also by Time Warner Cable. Enjoy all the things you love better. TV, internet, and home phone from Time Warner Cable, and by Ford. Heuray's Familia, the right-hander and one of the great prospects in the Mets farm system, on the pitch. This should be fun.
Well, more than a strikeout to inning pitch, one of the things you'll notice when you watch Familia pitch is that he hides the baseball very well. He's very quick from point A to point B, and I'm meaning when he takes it out of the glove and delivers it to the plate. And he's got every pitch you need to be successful.
Val Pascucci in at first. And Mike Nikias is on to catch Familia as Tolley has come out of the game. Those are the changes for the Mets. And the first pitch goes all the way back to the backstop to Skip Schumacher. Schumacher 0 for 2, grounded into a double play. Struck out his last time up against R.A. Dickey on a knuckleball that just dropped off the table. Probably Dickey's best. But the story today, Johan Santana. Hit to the right side. And Schumacher's going to beat it out. Valdespin made the effort, couldn't make the play.
Well, nice play. Just gets it on the end of his glove, but see how that glove curled behind him? Took him too long to get to the ball, and by that time Schumacher, with good speed, beat it out.
Johan Santana today, 2 innings, 29 pitches, 1 walk, 1 hit, and looked pretty smooth doing it too. Matt Holliday will come up now with a runner on against Familia, so we'll see him out of the stretch right now. Eugenio Velez has come in to run for Skip Schumacher at first base. This is probably Matt Holliday's final at bat of the game. Big cut and a big fastball. Popped in at 93, but it sort of sounded a lot harder than that.
Ball hitter, first pitch, fastball hitter, and he threw it right by him.
That one's a little faster at 95.
This is some impressive pitching right here. You love to see that the Mets are starting to get these power arms. Guys can get a swing and miss. No, Terry Collins is not drooling yet.
Miss curveball. Wonder if he breaks it out in 0-2. I'm just going to stay with 95. You know, Brian Costa of the Wall Street Journal had a great article about Familia and his good buddy Henry Mejia, who down in the Dominican, he was a huge basketball guy. He was a Kobe Bryant guy. And at 15, basically got introduced to a way to, to really make a life for yourself. He didn't pick this game up to 15 years old, so he's only been in it for not even 7 years. Yeah, one of the better hitters in the game, Matt Holliday, at 0-2 here. And that one falls in front of Matt Dendecker, so Matt Holliday down to the count. Gets the best of Familia, and now 2 Cardinals have reached base to start the frame.
That's the tough part about being a young pitcher. You have all the tools in the world. Throwing the ball 95 miles an hour, and a bloop and a bullet up the middle, and you got first and second, nobody out.
Right.
How did that happen? No one hits me that hard. Yeah. Guys like Holliday, you can fool them once, you might fool them twice, but this is a 3-strike game, and it's really tough to get that final strike because they make the adjustment, they speed up their bat a little bit.
It's why a guy like Familia, everyone wants him to come to the big leagues. That's for sure. Matt Adams running at first base for Holliday, whose afternoon is complete. And you see these young guys, you get so excited, and then you watch them throw a live BP, and but when you miss with a fastball, guys that hit 300.
It's like duck. Here it comes.
Here's David Freese, the World Series MVP. The 2 on. It's one to center, and Dendecker will put it away. First out recorded by Familia. That'll be the first at bat tonight of Coy Hill. Trying to get some playing time behind Yadier Molina. Not too many guys get playing time behind Yadier Molina. He plays 140 games a year. He'll a guy Mike Pelfrey could be proud of. He's a Wichita State guy. Familia dealing with 2 on here and 1 down. Ron, I think it's interesting that here are the Mets' 2 first spring games at home. And here's Terry Collins saying, you know what, young guys, let's see what you got. He throws Matt Harvey out there last night.
That's right.
He throws Familia out there tonight. He's going to throw Brandon Nimmo out there, their first pick from last year, a little bit later in this game. That hasn't been the case. In years past, these guys would get out here maybe the last week of spring training.
Well, I think what Terry's trying to do is, you see that good breaking ball you were talking about, Kevin. I think what Terry is trying to do is make sure these minor league players get a little taste of the big league life over here. And when they go back and tell their friends back in minor league camp, they say, you know what? I got to figure out a way to stay over there. I don't want to be over here with the soup and crackers. I want to go over there with the steak, you know? And it just, that little taste can be enough incentive to get you to do an extra lap.
Pascucci trying to turn 2, but Cedeno has no return there. And so they get the lead runner, but that's about it.
I honestly like that choice by Cedeno, and that doesn't happen unless you're a veteran player. He knows he has a young player covering first base, young pitcher covering first base. It's a difficult play anyways. He knows his pitcher's got good stuff here. Give him a chance to get out of his inning without maybe an error that goes awry.
How important is that for a young pitcher? I mean, look at Harvey last night. You know he didn't have the fastball command that he wanted, but he got the double play to get out of the inning. Does that make a difference for you?
Absolutely. You're saying, you know, you're wiping your brow and you're saying, boy, thank God I got out of that inning. It was a little wild, but it happened for you. Sometimes it takes a little luck to get you through the inning.
Well, he's going to try to do it here. Familia against Mark Hamilton, the first baseman, has had a good offensive day. He's got an RBI double, 2 for 2. This is a guy the Cardinals love his bat, but his production at age 27 is not exactly where he wants it to be. He had 20 home runs in the minors in 2010, but he only had 2 last year. Big drop off.
So you have Coy Hill on first, but obviously Familia is not familiar with Coy Hill or his speed. But in watching Familia pitch here, he's a young pitcher. One of the last things that comes your way, Kevin, is the ability to hold on runners. Here you are at an opportunity where the Mets are winning 4-2, but if you are too slow to the plate, you had someone who could run, they'd go to second. Those are the things that Familia is going to have to learn if he comes to the Mets as a reliever.
You know, as I watched Familia work to Mike Nickias, I found it interesting what Matt Harvey said about Nickias yesterday when I interviewed him during the game. And he said, you know, they worked together in Atlanta. They both live in Atlanta in the offseason. And Harvey said, man, he is just so positive. I mean, every pitch you throw, great. That looked great. That did this. And it fires you up. And I think especially for a younger pitcher, that's a really good thing.
Yeah, you need more positive stuff when you're a younger pitcher. When you get older, you have the ability and patience to take criticism a little better than when you're younger. And Mike's always been great at that. Guy who can kind of steer his pitcher along.
Mike Nickias traded for the next Manny Ramirez, Victor Diaz.
That's right. I didn't know he was described.
Amongst the Met fans, he was. Look at the plate. Didn't quite have the production.
Or the dreads.
No. Manny's dreads still rocking in Oakland, by the way. So an interesting pitch for Familia. Runners in the corners, 2 outs, and a 3-2 count to the lefty. And he gets him. So Familia gets out of the inning. Nicely done. See, the throwing hard today. Mets up by 2. Get up to the minute news straight from the Big East tournament, plus an inside look at the Mets and Yanks with live reports from camp. Presented by Sports Local today at 5:30, only on. Take a look at some of the new Cardinals. Eugenio Velez at second. Matt Carpenter's moved from right field over to third base now. Eric Komatsu is in right. And Sam Freeman is the new pitcher for the Cards. Fourth pitcher of the day for Mike Matheny's club.
Well, Freeman, another hard-throwing lefty, trying to make this ball club for Mike Matheny.
And Mike Nikias will lead it off. He'll get his first at-bat of the game. As always, guys getting in there, running, conditioning in the backfields. It's kind of nice back there. You know, you're kind of secluded. You don't think the cameras are on you, even when they're on you. You know, you're talking to Nikias, and you know, right. Oh boy, stay alert in that Cardinal. Mike's obviously concerned. Came in that way. You look at the lefty Freeman. He's a 32nd round pick by the Cardinals out of Kansas in 08. I got to tell you, there's not many 32nd round picks that get to the roster. A lot of those guys don't even make it to that point, but Freeman is. And this guy that, you know, coming off of Tommy John surgery, came back and pitched a couple games last year, so this is a big year for him. And it projects as a lefty specialist. Softly to right for Nikias. And there's one down. You know, you talk about Nikias, though. Right now, he has the edge to make this team. You know, Terry Collins and others love his defense and how he handles the staff. But he's got to be able to do something with the bat. You know, I don't think it's about home runs or RBIs or any of that, but I think he's got to be able to be productive.
He's got to be efficient, you know, do all the little things, make himself into a better hit and run kind of guy. You know, it's pretty interesting when you were talking about it last night that he spent the entire winter just working on his hitting, which is something probably he has never done before. You know, he's been one of those guys with the label, good defensive catcher, can't hit, and he knows if he can hit enough, that will get him on this ball club because he's a chemistry guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you like on your team. The players like him. The manager likes him. Knows that he's going to always do the right thing, you know, as far as work and getting ready for the game, helping. You know, it's not going to be a guy who's going to sit in the back and say, boy, that guy catching, he's not good. I should be playing. He's never going to be that kind of guy.
What is hitting enough?
Hitting enough is, listen, there's the day and age has changed a little bit. You know, everyone would love to have a Yadier Molina, and we watched how good he is this afternoon. But I think the game, Kevin, is going back to where pitching and catching are very, very important. Pitching being the most important, and you're only going to get the best out of your pitcher if you have a person who knows how to execute a game plan and also work with his pitching.
Adam Lowen has his second base hit. He's now 2 for 2 with a walk.
Boy, nice to have a guy like him on the bench late in games to give you a chance to tie up a game with one swing of the bat, wouldn't it?
He looks like he could hit one country mile. I mean, he's 6'6", 235. And, you know, as we look at his last, what he's done today, Adam Reifer warming up in the Cardinals bullpen. He'll be next. But you look at Lowen, you mentioned around his last at bat, you know, he had these arm injuries, was a first round pick of the Orioles. The arm injuries were crazy. Everything like that. He had a fractured elbow.
Yeah.
Fractured. And it was one of those things he told me, it was like, imagine like shin splints that have essentially led to your bone breaking. And did it the first time, he had a screw put in, rehab, came back and did it the second time, and it broke again. No real specific reason why. Said it was, you know, similar, maybe like a Joel Zumaya had something similar. But he said there was just no way I was done. I was, it was going to be a challenge. I knew it was going to be a process to be a position player. The first year I did it was a rough year. But he loves the game, and he's got certainly big power potential. Mike Baxter's going to doink one in the right. See if Lowen can go first to third. Those big strides. He's going to do it. Alert base running. Lowen's going to keep on going. No. Tim Tuffle said, hold on a second, big fella. It was bobbled for a moment by Komatsu in right, but Tim's a big guy. Is Lowen. So back-to-back single, first and third for Ronnie Cedeno, and Justin Turner joining us now from the Mets dugout.
What's up, guys?
Justin, how are you today?
Justin.
Nice defensive game for you. How'd it feel out of third base today?
Felt pretty good. A little better than last night. So.
Justin, I was just thinking that Tuffle, the third base coach, that had to be what it feels like for a free safety against Gronkowski of the Patriots when you're trying to stop a guy there at third.
Yeah, Lowen's a big boy, so it takes a little bit for him to get stopped.
As we watch Ronnie Cedeno, Justin, we were talking about your versatility, and you're playing third the first two games because David Wright's out right now. We know you're going to play second. And Terry Collins says right now you're the backup first baseman. You're going to get some time there. How comfortable are you over at first base, and what experience do you have playing that position?
I have a little bit of experience. I played there a couple games in the minor leagues and a little bit over there in winter ball. But it's going to be some work, and I'll get over there, get out early with Tuffle, and get some ground balls in, get comfortable around the bag, and hopefully make a pretty smooth transition over there.
Ronnie Cedeno with the RBI single. When you say a little bit of work, what specifically?
Just getting comfortable around the bag, footwork over there, and when to come off the bag, when to stay on, and I think the ground ball part of it shouldn't be too big of a difference from second base. But my main concern is footwork around the bag, taking throws from guys, and being comfortable, making sure they're comfortable throwing the ball to me. Where if they throw the ball in the dirt, I'll be comfortable scooping it up. I think that's big for infielders' confidence.
Justin, about your hitting, we were discussing last night that the best run the Mets had offensively, trip through Texas and Detroit, where you guys were just piling up the hits, and you were at your best. Have you always been able to hit the breaking ball the other way as well as you did on that trip and throughout the whole season last year?
My biggest strength hitting has always been going the other way. I like to let the ball get deep and stay back. And, throughout the year last year, I think pitching me in a little bit more by so many pitches, I think. But, we're working on some stuff with HUD. Fill that hole on the inner half of the plate right now. But my strength is going the other way. I'm never going to get away with it. Just going to try to clean up a little bit on the inner half.
As we talked to Justin Turner, I saw you in the clubhouse for the game, and I asked you about Santana pitching today. You said you were excited. Now that you've seen him pitch and saw what he did and have a nice 2 innings, what are you feeling now?
Oh, man, it was awesome to see him out there bouncing around and the energy he has. And, that's a big piece for us. So it looked like he felt good. I haven't got a chance to talk to him since he was done. But, hopefully he can keep making progress and going forward. And he's going to be huge for us to have on opening day. So.
Well, we talked to Burdak, and he gave me the number 279. What was yours? Your bowling number?
Man, I think in my third game I was a 164, 165. So.
That's not bad. That beats me.
Did you get drafted with a 164? Is that enough to get drafted to one of the teams, or where do you stand with that?
No, I'm gonna have to do a better job next week. So.
Justin, what was your offseason like? I mean, for you come out and you got a lot of playing time last year and did some really, really good things. Did you get away from the game? Did you try to have some time and recreation, or is it one of those things where you got right back into it, get right in the cage a couple weeks after the season?
No, I took some time. I took a couple vacations. A good friend of mine got married down in Cabo, so I got to go down there and relax, and went to Hawaii for the first time, which was awesome. I can't wait to go back. But just laid low and kicked back, and then once January came around, I got back on the field and dialed it up. So.
Dendecker, meanwhile, strikeout victim of Freeman, so that's the second out as the Mets have runners in the corners. Is that important for you? Was that important just to clear your head and get away from the game, did you think?
Yeah, absolutely. The year before I went down and played 2 months in the Dominican and really didn't have much of an off season, and I think it kind of caught up with me a little bit in August and September and took its toll. I was a little tired, so this year I made sure I stayed home and got my rest and got my workouts in, and hopefully I'll be fresh and be able to maintain it throughout the season this year.
We'll have another big year, and we'll meet at Cabo Wabo next winter.
All right, sounds good.
On you, by the way.
Sure.
All right, Justin, thanks very much. We'll see you soon.
All right, take care, guys.
Justin Turner joining us. Wilfredo Tovar, one of the minor leaguers Mets brought over from this game, playing a split squad today. So he comes over. A little jam shot to right. Wynn's playing tricks. Look out. And coming over was Eugenio Velez from second to make the catch. And the inning is over. Mets do score a run. RBI single from Ronnie Cedeno. Velez ends the threat. Mets up 5-2 through 6. Top of the 7th here from Digital Domain Park in Port St. Lucie. Mets 5, Cardinals 2. A lot of changes, a lot of minor leaguers in the game. Wilfredo Tovar now at second for Valdespin. Phillip Evans comes in at shortstop. Adelin Rodriguez, a new third baseman for Justin Turner, who we just talked to. Dustin Lawley, who's a catcher, but he's playing left field right now. And then we move to right field, where Daryl Siciliani, who won the New York Penn League batting title a couple years ago with Brooklyn, out there in right. So a lot of the minor leaguers getting a chance to play. Terry Collins did say that Brandon Nimmo would get some time, so maybe for the end of the game we'll get to see him too in center field. Second inning of work for Heuray's Familia on the mound, who flashed that 95-mile-an-hour fastball in the last inning and got out of a jam, as Familia facing Matt Carpenter, the right fielder, who's 1 for 2. One thing that strikes you about Familia, he's a big guy, man. I mean, he's got broad shoulders, 6'4", 230. What do you think about his delivery?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. It's very compact. There's not a lot of moving parts. When you have a motion like that, not a lot can go wrong. You're going to have a good command of the strike zone. I love it.
He's got 1 and 2 to Carpenter.
It's funny to have that kind of a short motion, and I mean as opposed to really taking your arm behind you. That short motion, you have to be a very strong. And
Familia tried to paint the corner. Pitch. Doing it, a walk and a hit, and Josh Tolley is the man that caught him. Josh upstairs. Josh, it's Kevin and Ron upstairs, and give us your take. How did Johan look?
Yeah, I thought he looked great. It was exciting to see him go out there and make his pitches. I think that's what everybody expected from him today, and it gave the guys a little uplifting in here.
How so, Josh? before he took the mound, during the mound? How did you teammates, just the level of excitement?
Yeah, when he came in the dugout after he warmed up, I think we knew right away that he was ready to go. And anytime you have a guy of that caliber go out and do that kind of bring us out and lead us out there, I think is a huge step for us.
Josh, you had a couple of balls in the dirt today. I really enjoyed watching you smother that baseball where it literally went, 6 inches to a foot away from you. That's certainly something I guess you've worked in the offseason and in spring training on. Yeah,
I spent a lot of time in January in Dallas with Bob Nadel, and just been trying to carry it over into spring. Going to be a big factor for me this spring to make the team.
When you talk about working with Bobby Nadel, that's something you did a couple summers ago. What specifically did you work on with him?
I just started working on my stances. When I was there the first time, early January, it was disturbing to see how many stances I had throughout the season. And it wasn't giving me a chance to, get in position to catch the ball, block the ball, throw the ball. So I went in and I just started working on just, one stance. And that one stance I feel great in right now, and just see if I can keep it going.
So how do you go from catching Johan Santana to the knuckleball in 40-mile-an-hour winds today, Josh?
Yeah, it was going to be a challenge, but it was fun. RA looked pretty good as well, and he makes it easy for me, so we have a good time with him.
About your hitting and at the plate, Josh, I always think for young players, the most difficult thing is to listen to coaches who have their own kind of game plan, which is important, but also maintaining that physicality, that athleticism that you've had since a small kid of being able to hit the baseball.
Yeah, you realize, Hudge is great with us, but, you realize you got to keep it simple. See the ball, hit the ball type of thing. Go back to really what works. So, right now you're just trying to get your timing down and see as many pitches as possible, I guess, without striking out 2 or 3 times over the course of the game. But, like I said, it's all about getting your timing and just getting yourself ready for, at least next week and the following week.
As we watch the Aries Familia, he walked Ryan Jackson, who's got 1 down, and now he's working on Adrian Chambers, trying to get him for the second out of the inning. That's where we stand, talking to Josh Tolley. Josh, one more on Santana, and just, I know it's kind of an unfair question because you worked 2 innings with him today, but can you kind of get a sense of where he is today as opposed to, where he is normally, and how close he is, and what are some of the similarities that maybe you saw today that give you an inclination that he's feeling pretty good?
Well, I thought what the biggest thing was it was the willingness to throw his breaking balls pretty much at will. He told me before he went out to the mound, he says, I want to throw all my pitches at any time. So that there I think gives you a sign of exactly where he's at, and he did. He executed a couple good change-ups, and he threw one to Yachty, and anytime you can go out and command your off-speed pitch, especially after coming off one of those surgeries, I think is a big boost for him.
Familia gets a strikeout of Chambers, and now he works to Shane Robinson as we watch him work. Runner on first. Now he got out of a jam the last inning too. So it's interesting to watch him take the mound at this big stage with the manager watching and kind of flash his wares, if you would. See if he does this pitch to Robinson, and if the inning continues, Josh, I want to ask you about this young man on the mound. 1-0, and it's high with the fastball. Josh, you get a chance to catch Familia much so far?
No, I haven't. I haven't even had. But I stood off to the side once and watched him his last bullpen, and I thought, this is some kind of arm. I think he's going to be fun to watch. Especially once he kind of comes to his own and learns how to command all of his pitches. I think he should.
Terry Collins paid you a great compliment last season. He said you are a born leader. Will that make it easier for you to lead this year now that you got a couple of years under your belt and feel like you have an opportunity to do that? This is where your career should take off.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ron. It's there was at times myself being a little timid, pitcher and how to talk to him. But you know, with a year in, it gives me just that much more confidence, and I have that much better relationship with the starting pitchers and even the guys in the bullpen. So, you know, I know when to kick him on the butt. I know when to pat him on the butt now. So hopefully that will help me out as we go along.
Well, Josh, nice work today. Thanks for taking a couple minutes to join us.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Xerox Business of Baseball bringing you Josh Thole, a slew of interviews today. Josh did have, boy, you catch Johan, big event there, and then in comes the 60-mile-an-hour knuckleball. Good luck. And he was on his game, as you said, Ronnie, blocking those baseballs. Here's Familia now, 3-1 to Robinson with a runner on. Mets 5-2 in the 7th. And it's low, ball 4. So once again, Familia gets in a little bit of trouble. He gave up 2 singles last time and got out of it. And now he's got a couple walks as Pedro Beato is warming. He'll be on next for the Mets. Dan Worthen out to talk to Familia.
Well, it's interesting that a little test here for Familia. Most of the times in these situations in spring training, you have it kind of outlined that if he gets into a little trouble, we just go to the bullpen, no big deal. But sometimes you want to test one of your pitchers and see early. You know, if he goes 1-2-3, 1-2-3 every time he goes out there, you don't learn too much. You know, you learn he's good, learn he has good stuff. But how does he pitch here? He's running out of gas. I saw Dan Worthen just message to the bullpen. Last hitter. How can he get out of this inning with people on base?
Well, he's got 34 pitches, so clearly he's at the end of where the Mets point. It's a why not have a test the second game of spring training, right? Yeah. See what this kid in the first inning. See if he can get out of it here. His last batter for sure, with 2 on and 2 down. And there's a strike. You know, Familia, as you've seen on the gun. And there's a giant tarp blowing in the outfield as we look at the backfields. I don't even know what that is. Is it a flag or a mat?
Yoga in the out there, Kevin.
They had Pilates on the party deck, is
yes.
that it? Daryl Siciliani going to go dump that one over the fence.
Yoga in the berm.
I could see that class happening.
Why not?
8th inning yoga. It'll be great after the hot dog and beer in the 6th.
That's right.
Work out just fine. That's fans hanging out on the berm. Love that part of the ballpark here. $8 a ticket. Can't beat it. Familia's upstairs and high. So you're getting a little tired. To Velez. His first at bat replacing Skip Schumacher. Someone's got to tell that dude the Cubs aren't playing.
What shirt should I wear? Cardinals, Mets.
Side's going to get through Tovar. And quickly coming up with Siciliani from right. And that does prevent Ryan Jackson from scoring. Now the base is loaded. And that may be it for Familia. We'll see how the Mets handle it. No, they're going to give him one more shot.
That's interesting. Worthen told Beato that he was coming in only one more batter for Familia, and now he just motioned back. We'll do one more again. So they want to see him pitch with the bases loaded in 2 outs.
It's pretty cool if you're a Mets fan right now, right? I mean, you get a little taste of the future and see how he responds in a very early test with that guy watching.
And Familia is saying, "What's my pitch count?"
Matt Adams, the batter. Bases loaded for the Cards. Takes a hefty swing and hits one deep to left center field. And it is. That's a grand slam for Matt Adams. And so the Mets let Familia see if he could get out of the jam, and he couldn't do it. Adams took a big cut and sends it home. And the Cardinals have jumped in front. Grand slam for Matt Adams, and Familia's day is done, and the Cardinals have taken the lead. Beato coming in relief. try and close out the frame with 2 down at the top of the 7th, but the Cardinals have done major damage. A grand slam off of Hieronymus Familia, hit by Matt Adams, and that's given St. Louis a 6-5 lead. As we see Eric Komatsu's first at bat of the game for St. Louis.
We'd have to say Pedro Beato, when you look at his season last year, Rule 5 pick from the Baltimore organization, had to stay with the Mets all season long. It really was a series of streaks for Pedro. Got off to an amazing streak, scoreless streak to start the season, and then after that it was a little bit of a good for a couple of games and bad for a couple of games.
Yeah, you know, he got hurt, and he never really recovered that mojo that he had, you know.
Never had the sharpness on that fastball. Lost a couple of miles an hour, and that made a big difference.
And this one is hit a ton to right field. Siciliani has a long way to go. It's over his head, bounces over the wall. That's going to be a 2-run double. So the 2-out double by Komatsu is making sure it bounced there. The wind has died down a little bit, by the way, from before. Before it was gusting in big time. Siciliani had a long way to go. He's playing in, just couldn't get there. But the Cardinals' bats have come alive in a big way.
That was the most impressive of them all, because that was straight into the teeth of the wind and able to hop that over the wall with 2 outs.
Coy Hill swings at the off speed and misses. I think the most impressive, other than the grand slam, was Torres, who hit that 3-run triple into the teeth of the wind before in right center. Torres had a good couple games so far for this Mets team. Beato's 0-1 on Hill, and he pops him up. Then Decker drifting with that wind that now picks up, and he hauls it in. The inning is over, but not before the Cardinals take the lead with 4. Grand slam off Familia.
Your direct.
Hard throwing right-hander Adam Reifer in the game for the Cardinals now as we go to the home 7th. Mets find themselves trailing 6-5 after the Cards put up 4. Grand slam Matt Adams off Hieronymus Familia did the damage. And who's Reifer going to be pitching to? The Mets' #1 draft pick from last year, Brandon Nimmo, sizing him up on deck. Another guy that comes over from the minor league fields, and Terry Collins said, hey, let's test you out.
Boy, look, you see these kids come up, 18 years old as Nimmo. said you saw him in the clubhouse. He's a lot bigger than you thought he'd be.
He's bigger than he looked in pictures and on TV. He's 6'3", 185. I'm 6'2", and he's a big guy. You know, you can see he's got a great build. And he can run like the wind. He's the 13th overall pick from this past draft out of Cheyenne, Wyoming, a state where they don't have high school baseball, which is amazing in its own right.
What do they play? American Legion baseball, right?
They do. And let me tell you, this kid is, what a personality he has.
I mean, they don't have enough to play football. They play 6 or 8 man football also.
No, you're right. He's been over, though. He got 10 games in rookie ball. He's played in the winter in the Dominican Republic. In fact, stayed at the Mets complex the entire winter. He is just, I think, what you call a baseball junkie as he takes a strike there. Loves the game. And, you know, I'll tell you, when he first signed, Mets gave him a bonus over $2 million. Just his personality is something. I mean, he's really out there. You can tell he's got it in him to be a leader. I mean, that's a long way away, obviously. This is his first at bat here on this big field. But, you know, I think the reason the Mets made that leap and gave that kind of bonus, which they haven't done in the past, is because they took a chance and they see star quality. And that's what they're going for with a pick like this. There's a strike.
My youngest son, Jordan's 18. I think he's at the pool playing guitar right now. Well, Nimmo's getting his first AB.
Your son Jordan's a pretty darn good athlete, though.
But
you know?
Still, I mean, let's put in
2-2 to Nimmo.
Proper perspective on, you know, I mean, being here against grown men trying to get a base knock.
Good eye. Nimmo watches it outside, works the count full. Val Pascucci thought he had a home run last night. Wind kind of sucked it up in center field. He's next. And Nimmo draws a walk. Showing you the patience at the plate. Meanwhile, the story today, Johan Santana, who went 2 innings, looked good. But how did Johan feel his first appearance since late September 2010 against big league hitters? Here he is after it.
Finally, I had an opportunity to go out there and finally get the first one out of the way. I tried to, throw my pitches and trying to get adjusted to the mound and everything, but it worked out pretty good. I'm trying to, in the beginning, I'm trying to just feel the mound and see how I feel throwing my fastballs. And I threw a couple sliders were okay and a couple changeups. But overall, I think the key was on how I feel, and I felt pretty good. I didn't know in the beginning what it was going to be like, if they were swinging right away, if it was going to take some pitches. Even the first pitch I threw, I thought was pretty good, and then it was a ball. Then it was a challenge, Then I have to find the strike zone and trying to locate all my pitches, and that's why trying to throw my fastball out there.
And he was a little high with it early in the first inning, especially, but he toned it down through a couple real nice changeups. Here's the beautiful thing about what you just saw. He's sitting there, comfortable, talking to the media, ice on the shoulder. It looks like normal.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Mets would like to get back to, normality with Santana every 5th day.
Aderlin Rodriguez is the batter. Mets have 2 on after the Pascucci hit now. Takes a slider outside. Johan today, 2 innings, 29 pitches. Allowed 1 hit, 1 walk. Hit 90 with that fastball. And, again, this is a gun that maybe was a little slow yesterday and was consistently in the high 80s with it. So, funny, we started the broadcast saying that velocity, it wasn't a big deal, but, kind of, I don't know. I was a little surprised to see it.
Unless it was 89-90, then it becomes a big deal.
I mean, were you surprised
to
see it? I was. Rodriguez, it's just a mile high. Carpenter fighting for it, a little out of his reach. And, you know, here's the thing. The important thing now is, okay, today looked good. Seems like he's in good spirits. Talked about what he did and why he threw all those fastballs and how he felt. How does he feel tomorrow and the next day? That is really the key, especially with this type of surgery. And really the only example we have to go on is, it's not the same exact surgery, but Chien-Ming Wang.
Yeah.
And he had setbacks, and so that's what you have to watch. If he does well the next couple of days, then you're feeling pretty good if you're a Mets fan.
Well, that's why he has that ice on. You know, it takes a lot of the swelling out of the arm and starts you back on your recovery to pitch in 4 days.
Meanwhile, seeing a couple of Mets youngsters here. Brandon Nimmo, first at bat, he draws a walk. And Val Pascucci, not a Mets youngster, drills a line drive single. And now it's Adeline Rodriguez battling up there. Third baseman, and all these kids getting a chance to play. You know, a lot of them came down and worked with Terry in the offseason, and so part of it is the reward. Here you go. Come on over and play in the big field, boys.
Well, Terry Collins lives here in the offseason, so if you want to, win Terry's influence, get here and get here early.
There's nothing wrong with giving an apple to the teacher every now and again. Shattered bats. Jackson avoiding the bat, and he can't do it. And now he throws it askew. Nimmo's going to come home and score and tie the game. Pascucci is rumbling around third. He's going to try and score, and he does, and the Mets take the lead. So a broken bat gives the Mets 2 runs, and they're back in front.
Well, bad break for pitcher Adam Reifer there. Great break for the Mets. You can see this is going to be a problem right from the start. The play for the shortstop was to first base all the way to try to get the out. And he loses control, of course, and good hustle by the runners. Nimmo gets the read from Tuffle, who's yelling at him. He proceeds to score, and now Pascucci, rumbling, as Kevin said, to score the go-ahead run.
It's kind of like Mike Allstott getting going. I wouldn't want to get in the way of that.
That's right. Very good.
He was rolling there for a while. That was an interesting play. That's a tough field for Jackson, but where he made the mistake was the throw.
He's just missing the neck roll.
Yeah, exactly. They credit an E6. I'm assuming they give a hit to Rodriguez. I don't know if he would have been out even if he made a sparkling play. But the error is the one that scores the run. So no RBIs for Rodriguez. But the Mets back in front. That's the bottom line. The 2 runs, now it's 7-6 New York, and Mike Nikias at the plate. Infield in with a runner on third. Nikias takes in ball 1.
You see that infield in with the 1-run lead for the Mets. So Matheny playing the situation exactly like you'd play it in the regular season. Why not?
A little Louis Gonzalez special.
Yes.
Cue shot up the middle, do the job. Mike took inside. Now he takes outside. 2-0 to Nikias. Nobody out here in the home 7th. Good crowd at Digital Domain Park. Good day for the Mets with Johan Santana throwing well and feeling good after his debut. Much anticipated, to say the least. That's outside, a good block by Hill to stop Rodriguez and keep him at third base. Seen some good defensive catching today, haven't we?
Yes.
And we've seen Molina throw guys out in his sleep. So totally blocking baseballs.
That's right.
On a couple changeups from Santana. I thought it was interesting what Josh said about the stance. How, when you think of stance, you think of batting stance. But he said he was in so many different stances last year, he never found, he didn't even know it. This is popped up to the right side. Hamilton, Hill, and just falls in. So Nikias gets new life. But it was interesting how he said, watching films, I couldn't believe all the different stances I went in. And Bobby Nadel said, you got to stick with one. And that's, and he seems comfortable early on.
He had that little 45-degree angle towards second base that he would catch R.A. Dickey from. And I think that it got kind of seeped into his regular stance for all the other traditional kind of pitching.
How can it not, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, how can it not? I mean, I think it's only natural. Nikias to center. See if this gets the job done getting Rodriguez home. Here comes Robinson throwing. The wind takes it, but Rodriguez stays. Good throw and a good job by Hill to follow it up the line. So not enough by Nikias to get Rodriguez home. And there's one away. And I think that's what you were talking about before, about doing just enough.
I will say, though, that that was a good at-bat by Nikias. He hit the ball far enough on any day except today because the wind blowing in.
Yeah.
So it was a good at-bat. He did what he was supposed to do. He hit the ball in the air. It's just he got eaten up by the wind today. Simple as that. And tough knowing that there's still another chance with one out. Do not send the runner and take another chance.
Daryl Siciliani is the batter now. Kyle McClellan warming up for the Cards. Siciliani, a guy that had a great year. Won the New York Penn League batting title for the Cyclones. Batted .351 in 2010. Fourth round pick back in 09, and no batting gloves. That's a rarity these days.
Keith Hernandez, Jorge Posada way. You don't need any batting gloves.
Just a little dirt like that.
Well, you show me a guy who can 351. This guy's going to use the whole field. You can tell with that little open stance. 2 eyes on the baseball.
He had a tougher adjustment last year. 259 in Savannah in the South Atlantic League. Part of it, though, is he had a hamstring injury and never really got back to his form after that. 2-1 to him here. Infield in, 1 out, runner on third. And Siciliani, that's going to get the job done. Going to go in the gap. Siciliani can fly, too. He's going to go for 2. We'll stop there. He's got an RBI double. Daryl Siciliani, rookie's time to shine. And it's 8-6 New York.
When you win a batting title, you have to have the ability to hit a pitcher's pitch. This one down and away, and does not try to pull it, just goes with it and just funnels it into that gap. That is a beautiful swing on the outside pitch. That would make Keith proud right there, that approach by Siciliani.
He went to Columbia Basin Community College. Any idea where that is?
Nope.
Washington.
Oh, okay. Columbia Basin. We should know that.
Here's the thing. The interesting thing about there is it was a wood bat league. And in college, you don't see that often. There's a couple in the country. So I think that helped him when he came to Brooklyn. He was used to wood bats. He played with them.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the college kids who go to the Cape Cod League now, that is a wooden bat league now. So it helps them with the transition. That's why a lot of them choose to play their summer ball on the Cape.
Dustin Lawley is the batter. His first chance with 1 out. He gets jammed a little bit. And Robinson puts it away in center. And 2 down.
Shortstop, number 4, Philip Evans.
Now we'll get a look at Philip Evans. He's a guy that was going to San Diego State. That's used a 15th round pick on him. But he's got a lot of tools. A smart hitter. He's got a real good arm and put on muscle in the offseason in a big way. Some say he could end up as a second baseman because he's a bigger guy. Believe it or not, he put on nearly 20 pounds of muscle in the offseason. Wow. But he's got the arm. He's got probably the range for shortstop, but he's got an advanced eye from what I'm told at the plate. We'll see it here, 0-1. And it's in the dirt, gets by Hill that time. And Siciliani will make it easily to third base.
Well, a little ball in the dirt. And this is most catchers where they get hurt. Everything about getting in front of the baseball is perfect, except the little lift of the glove at the last moment it cost him in the 5-hole.
You know, if that's Henrik Lundqvist, that doesn't go through.
That's right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
That's right. It doesn't. King for the King never goes
through. Tough to get one by the King these days. That's low. So a good eye from Evans. Am I not allowed to talk hockey when it's the Big East tournament today? Is that it? We have to keep our focus there?
Well, I happen to be a big hockey fan, but you know, watching the Rangers all year long, that last game against Boston, of course, you know, both those teams are so good in the East. But the Big East is what it's all about. Syracuse, someone's got to try to take them down. They've been great all season long.
Right to Hamilton, and he will end the inning. But a good one for the Mets. They retake the lead. Siciliani, an RBI double, broken bat. Mets up by 2. SNY's Play Ball Award was a huge success. 6 Indian youth baseball leagues received a $5,000 grant to help pay for new equipment, uniforms, and field improvements. This season, it's your turn. Help your youth baseball or softball league with a $5,000 grant. Apply for the SNY Play Ball Award today at sny.tv/playball. Well, don't know what just happened, but Terry Collins went out to the mound. Pedro Beato stopped throwing, and Pedro Beato is out of the game. So I'm assuming something didn't feel right. As now he goes over to talk. Oh boy!
Front of the shoulder.
Goes over, talks to the trainer and Dan Worthen, pointing to the front and then the back of the shoulder. And Beato pitched in the last half inning. Came on to relieve Familia, and didn't show any indications while he was pitching or coming off or anything. It was in the warm-up that he felt something, and Terry jumped out there immediately. Let's watch his last warm-up pitch and see if we can see anything.
Yeah,
it didn't look right.
Well, usually what happens, to tell you the truth, is that in between innings, the pitching coach will talk to you and say, how you feel? You know, God, I can't get loose. My shoulder's tight or whatever. Relays that to the coach, to Terry Collins, and then when Beato went out there, the pitch, you could see that he was only thrown about maybe 50%.
Didn't look right.
Collins saw that. He said, that's it.
Terry Collins saw it. We got a change. DJ Carrasco getting his time to warm up. We'll be back once he's ready. 8-6 Mets. Check around the majors. Mets have a split squad today for the only time this spring. They fall the Astros 4-1. Schwinden in that game gave up a couple of home runs, we're told. Josh Satin did have an RBI single in the fourth. That's sitting around the majors. Here in the 8th inning, the news is Pedro Beato is left with an apparent injury, or at least a stiffness or something. I don't want to say injury.
It's enough to leave the game. That's always, difficult.
So DJ Carrasco had the time he needed to warm up.
Well, DJ had a season he wants to forget, and he can now because it's behind him. Wants to have a strong spring training here because he can fill a role for the Mets. He can, one of those guys who can throw every day, do a lot of different things, and eat up some innings.
Well, Carrasco just had a season last year where nothing went right. I mean, absolutely nothing went right. So much so, as Mark Hamilton is the hitter, starting things off, that at one point late last year he dropped down to be a sidearm.
That's right.
Simply out of desperation. So he's not doing that anymore.
That was interesting. That was a changeup. We didn't see a lot of changeups from DJ last year. More of a breaking ball pitcher. There's another one, 2 in a row.
And he felt like he didn't have that real good break on his slider. He felt like his slider was flat a lot of times. And
they'll say like it's rolling up there, you know?
Didn't have that sharp dive, more kind of rolled over the plate. And here's the thing. I mean, the Mets want DJ Carrasco to make the team. He's versatile. You know, he's a guy that can come out. If a starter has a rough day, give you 3 innings. You know, he can come in from the right side and give you a couple good sliders and get in outs. Make a spot start if you have a doubleheader. So I mean, they also gave him a 2-year deal because they believed that he could do that. So perfect world. They want him to have a good spring and make the team because of his versatility. And here he gets Hamilton swinging, so a good start. Carrasco didn't think he'd be in when he is, but he gets the time to warm up. Gets a strikeout to start it off against Mark Hamilton, 1 away.
Well, I think what people forget, a couple of seasons ago, and the name is not going to come right to you, but Elmer Descends filled that role a couple seasons ago, and he was fantastic. He could spot start, he could close a game, he could pitch 3 innings if he needed him to, and that's what DJ needs to do for this Mets team.
I mean, how good was Darren Oliver?
There,
the Mets run a few years ago, right?
Right, 2006. Still pitching now, Darren Oliver.
Isn't that amazing? Coming in huge spots with the Rangers in the postseason. Matt Carpenter is your batter, 1 for 3 with a single. And he takes a strike from Carrasco. And it's 1-2. Check that, 2-2. And Carrasco, a couple of strikeouts there. Going with the off speed again. Good start, 2 down.
Again, that little running pitch on the outside part. Big swing by Carpenter. Comes up dry.
So we'll see Pete Kozma get a turn. The 2 down and nobody on. Here in the top of the 8th, Mets up 8-6. Johan Santana got the start. 2 innings, 29 pitches. Looked and felt good, so that was a good thing today for the Mets. We saw R.A. Dickey with 2 terrific innings, motoring through the Cardinals lineup. We saw this one to left, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. DJ Carrasco looking sharp. We hit the bottom of the 8th. Mets by 2. Veteran righty Kyle McClellan on the mound for the Cardinals, as Matt Den Decker gets his second at bat of the game. Came in for Andres Torres, who had another good night. Torres was 2 for 3 with a 3-run triple in this one. As we take a look at McClellan, he's done a nice job in his Cardinals career. And Decker watches high and outside.
The guy that's gone back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen. His versatility, his strength.
It's really what this Cardinals team has been about under Tony La Russa. You know, I mean, it's so many guys can fulfill so many different roles. And you hit it early in the game. How will Mike Matheny handle the same guys?
Well, I think one of the things, you know, he was the roving instructor in their minor league system. So when you have that job, you get to know everyone in that minor league system. So he's looking at guys in camp that other guys have not seen play.
As Den Decker gets jammed. And he's out to left. So you talk about Matheny in a new role with the Cardinals. What about Terry Collins? His second year with the Mets. Expectations outside of this team not so high. How does he feel about all of that?
We're better than people think we are. And I don't want these guys to think for 1 second there's no expectations. There are expectations. This is the major leagues. We've got a good team. You know, well, yeah, we've lost 2 real good players out of our lineup. We've lost we've lost some good pitchers, but you know, we got to move forward.
That was the message as Tovar first pitch swinging, and the wind almost the wind is knocking people over at this point.
The ball almost never came down. So let me ask you really quickly, since you've been here from the beginning of time. How was the underdog shirt taken in relation to those comments? Was it taken as a fun thing or not a fun thing? Because I'm thinking that those kind of shirts usually organically come to teams. You know, like something happens during the course of the year that create those slogans.
Well, I think Terry Collins said this. It doesn't matter. He didn't care what it was that got the guys together. As we take a look at Nimmo, his second at bat now here with the Mets. He walked his first time and scored. Goes the other way, but right at Carpenter at third. He's retired. We'll get to that thought when we come back. About the underdogs, these Mets. Good inning for Kyle McClellan. Last chance for the Cardinals. We go to the ninth. The Mets try to close it out when we come back. DJ Carrasco trying to close it out for the Mets as He's got Oscar Taveras pinch hitting for the Cardinals. One of the minor leaguers Cards brought along today. Carrasco had a great inning coming in for Pedro Beato, who was lifted during warmups. Val Pascucci takes care of this. 2 pitches, 1 down. Tonight, starting at 10:30, get continued coverage of today's Mets-Cardinals Grapefruit League matchup, plus interviews, highlights, recaps of everything New York sports on Geico Sports Night. It's tonight at 10:30 only on SNY. Obviously, you get the Big East tournament going on, too, which we'll have for you. But we told you that Carrasco was in for Beato. Beato left with what we're told is right shoulder stiffness. So I'm pointing to his shoulder. That's what he left with. Carrasco is now done. They're going to go one more pitcher here to try and close things out. Well, Terry Collins and the Mets. Good outing for Carrasco. 4 up and 4 down for him. And we will keep it here. And you know, Santana, the story today. Santana, 2 innings, 29 pitches, 1 hit, 1 walk. Fielded a ball, started a double play. Just looked comfortable. What'd you think?
I thought it was great. I think that the one person who doesn't want to make too much of this is Santana, because he's all about the work of it. He's all about getting ready. You know, he can already see the prize, and that is, of course, April 5th. But I think even more importantly, when I watched today, there were some things I wanted to see. Did he throw free and easy? Check yes. Did he have decent velocity? Better than decent velocity, 88, 89, 90 miles an hour. And was he able to throw all his pitches? I did not see a couple of his sliders that he threw. He must have thrown them down and into the righties. But he threw all 3 of his pitches, as he said in his press conference. So to see that and to see him throw free and easy, and he's such an inspiration to this ball club. And I think Terry Collins was as excited as Santana was. And you don't forget about his athleticism on mound. A lot of those baseballs go into center field, and now you're in trouble. Good change up there to Molina, who's seen it before, of course, and just couldn't ask for anything more from Santana today. And I'm sure that after he gets away from the press, after he gets home tonight, he's just going to be able to sit back and a little smile come on his face and say, you know what? I'm on my way.
Brandon Nimmo wears 87, but he's not pitching. That is Josh Edgin, who's going to try and close it out. Another minor leaguer, Terry Collins, going to get us some experience on the big field. That's just bottom line, real good news for Johan Santana today. And now, of course, we keep your fingers crossed and see how he reacts tomorrow and the next day. Sort of stiffness, soreness, things like that. It's all a process for him.
Well, in a perfect world, he'll be able to come out and play toss. Then the next day, a little long toss and throw, get a bullpen session in, a little more throwing on day 3, and then back out there for day 4. And that's in a perfect world, that's what will happen.
I'm not sure if this young man plays for the Cardinals or Joe's Hardware.
I think they brought him over from Fort Pierce High School.
there's no name on the back of the jersey. He's just got a flat out red helmet. I mean, it's great he gets a chance to play here, but how about a logo on the helmet? Can I get that?
This is like the 1980 hockey team. It's the name on the jersey.
That's it.
It's not the name on the back, Kevin. It's not the name on the helmet.
It's Kyle Conley, by the way.
Very good call.
Minor league outfielder for the Cardinals. This is what you love about spring training, right? You never know who's going to get it in the game, and Edgin gets it by him. So 1-1 as the Mets try and close out the Cardinals here and pick up their first spring training win. 8-6 they lead it. Santana the story. Andres Torres a 3-run triple, a bullet that he hit right into the wind earlier in the game. There's a swing and a miss. So Josh Edgin working quickly. We saw Brandon Nimmo get his debut with a walk. Also grounded out to third.
This young man's got a nice arm. Throws hard. There's a good little tight slider down and in right there.
It's got 1 and 2 here, and there's that slider just missed. Mets meet on the road tomorrow in Jupiter, and no Jose Reyes in that game. Reyes is playing a night game at the new Marlins Stadium against one of the colleges. I don't remember if it's Florida International. I can't remember. Playing in that game. There's strike 3 call. Nicely done by Josh Edgin, and they are 2 down. Cardinals down their final out. So the Mets do that Wednesday and Thursday back here at Tradition Field against those very same Marlins. How about that? As Mike Pelfrey makes his Grapefruit League debut here at Digital Domain Park. Mets Marlins presented by Citi, 1 o'clock start right here on SNY. I've got Ron and Keith that day. Oh,
really?
My God. How did I swing that for a Thursday day game?
How did he not do the day game after a night game?
Well, it's, there's a 24-hour rule.
That's right.
It's like it's like a pilot. You got to have that downtime.
So you're telling me that they're playing in the new stadium tonight?
Tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow night in Miami.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Cardinals down to their final out now. As Eugenio Velez is your batter. Single and a run scored. Last Cardinal hope. Mets up by 2. I saw a picture of the fish tank behind home plate.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
Really?
Man. Yeah. It's fun to see when we get to Miami. I wanted to finish my thought from last inning. I know there's 2 strikes here. The underdog thing, people liked it. They wore the shirts. David Wright said, I don't consider myself an underdog. We're not underdogs. So that's David's mentality. He's never been one to kind of have excuses or say we're not the favorite, anything like that.
Yeah.
He's been that way from day one. Meanwhile, Josh Edgin trying to close it out, get the old spring training save. And he does just that, getting Velez. Impressive. 2 strikeouts for Josh Edgin, and the Mets get their first spring win 8-6 over the Cardinals this afternoon. Terry Collins and the boys can celebrate a victory in a day where you saw a lot of good things happen. Concern for Pedro Beato with stiffness in the shoulder. We'll tend to that. With Johan Santana, the story of the day, the story of the game, with 2 solid innings. And Andres Torres had 2 nice games to boot. A rocket 3-run triple, get on scoring a run, really moving around, getting the job done. Ironically, Beato got the win in this game, even though he left with the injury. Josh Edgin gets the save. 8-6. Mets get the victory today, and just hope everything goes smoothly for Johan going forward, because today was a good start.
Yeah, hopefully he feels good tomorrow, but you got a lot of great stuff happening today. The leadoff would-be hitter Torres had his 2nd solid game in a row, cleared the bases with that triple. We saw Nimmo come in for his first at-bat and was very patient and worked out a walk and then hit a hard ground ball to the 3rd baseman. We saw a lot of good stuff out there. We're lucky enough to have Jay Hook in the booth here. He was fantastic. The winner of the first ever Mets baseball game, throwing that first pitch out to Al Jackson. But I think even more importantly, I think we're seeing the Mets run the bases. We're seeing them steal bases and do a lot of good things.
Mets beat the Cards 8-6 this afternoon. Johan Santana, 2 solid innings, 29 pitches in his return to the mound. I'd like to thank our entire SNY crew, for my partner Ron Darling. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. We'll see you Thursday at 1. Mets and Marlins right here in Port St. Lucie. Be good until then. Have a great day, everyone.